Oh, great, Final Fantasy V has yet another crystal story, and the main protagonist is named Butts. I'm just gonna call him Bartz, alright? And Bartz is silly and goofy and does the whole, gee, can you explain the plot point to me again for the fourth time? And the job system from Final Fantasy III, which was average, is back. Great, this game isn't gonna be very good, is it? I'll start off by saying that Final Fantasy V, I think, properly threads the needle between being an entertaining spectacle with just enough moments of seriousness tossed in for good measure that makes the game feel like it's a complete adventure. So sure, Final Fantasy V might take a fairly noticeable U-turn from Final Fantasy IV's melodrama, but that's okay, and what we have here with 5 is just an enjoyable game from start to finish. Mostly. Final Fantasy V feels like a video game rather than a digital soap opera or some sort of artistic meta-commentary about the world, and you know what? Video games ought to be that way sometimes. Unlike Final Fantasy IV's main cast, which tended to be brooding and theatrical, Final Fantasy V's characters are generally light-hearted and cheeky, but are still equally as well-written as 4's. Despite his goofy name, Bartz is extremely likable as our plucky-haired protagonists, and Lena and Ferris are good too, with each of them being different foils to Bartz. Galuf is overly silly at times and kind of stock overall, but he's fine, and his granddaughter Kryl makes a fine substitute to replace him. The antagonists are pretty good too. Exdeath is one evil motherfucker. He outsmarts and outclasses our heroes at basically every possible turn, and it's really only at the end of the game when he's faced as the final boss is he actually defeated. And so while Exdeath might not be as nearly as developed or memorable as some of the other Final Fantasy villains like 6's Kefka or 7's Sephiroth, Exdeath fits nicely in a game like this, where the stakes don't feel as high, at least initially. Gilgamesh is a slapdick character, on the other hand, for basically the entire game until the very end, where he gives the heroes some pretty harsh but realistic life advice. Other characters and NPCs also make some witty and smart-ass comments, like wishing tragedy to befall a mother-in-law, or Vito making a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reference, but all in all, I found Final Fantasy V's script to be quite good and entertaining. All of that said, though, the overall story here in Final Fantasy V really isn't especially engaging. It really boils down to evil guy wants to rule the world, and it doesn't stray far from that basic premise. But the characters and their antics keep the story afloat, thankfully. As mentioned earlier, the job system returns here, and it's just better than Final Fantasy III's system in basically every way possible. Leveling and mastering the jobs can be a little bit grindy like it was in 3, but I found that there's enough time to swap out jobs for the party members once they've mastered a job, so by the end of the game, each party member possesses a pretty good stockpile of options to customize each party member's kit, allowing for quite a mixing and matching of abilities to create unique and powerful combinations. Blue Mage also makes its first appearance here, but man, drawing out the job's true potential requires finding or waiting for some really annoying enemy encounters to learn the enemy spells, including missables, but I will admit that some of them are very useful and worth acquiring. I, for one, love Red Mage, as I've said in videos past, and I think its dual cast command ability is viable throughout the whole game, but there are definitely some jobs like Freelancer and Mime that are better suited for the endgame. Speaking of the endgame, Final Fantasy V does start to stumble a bit in its closing hours. Most notably, there are too many trash mobs armed with too many powerful spells. Seriously, how come behemoths can dual cast Meteor? That shit should be reserved for the player characters. So once again, using the Pixel Remaster's boosts are helpful here if you're just interested in the experience rather than banging your head against the wall. Similarly, because this game is a step up in difficulty from its predecessors, the completion time is also increased to about 25 to 30 hours or so, and definitely more if you want to do some of the other extras like learn all the Blue Mage techniques, complete the bestiary, or unlock the other achievements or trophies. In the previous review videos for the Pixel Remaster, I really haven't said much about the graphics because, well, I mean, they're so simple, but I do think that the colorful sprite work here accentuates this game's jaunty and jovial nature in particular, and as a result, this Pixel Remaster version is really quite a good remaster. And while I haven't said or relied on too much hyperbole in this review, Final Fantasy V is one of the better entries in this compilation, and it earns a very solid B+. On the next one, we'll be closing out the Pixel Remaster with the fan favorite Final Fantasy VI. See ya!